So here we have it, the batch ferment, the first fermentation that the dough has had. You can see it's doubled in size, it's nice and soft, and we can see like the little air bubbles ready. So what's actually happened in this now, I'm going to try and get the scientific bit right, like a L'Oreal advert, and we go, here's the science bit, I'll try and do the dough equivalent. So we've mixed the yeast and the flour, the enzymes in those two now break down the starches in the flour into sugars, and then the yeast feeds off the sugars and then creates the carbon dioxide, and that's what gives us all the air bubbles. So we've got a nice light airy dough. So after I've dazzled you with some science, we're going to get this dough out onto the surface. These little dough cutters are an absolute godsend as well. If you can get your hands on one of these, they're fantastic. So you can see like the dough is nice and light and soft. Let's get the bowl out of the way. So you can see the stretch on this now. If I pull that apart, you can see. So the next bit, if I chop through this as well, we've got some nice little air bubbles inside there as well. So the next bit we're going to do is chop it into dough balls ready for our pizzas. So our individual pizza bases. So in the market we do them 250 grams. So that gives you a good restaurant sized pizza, fills a dinner plate, an average dinner plate. 10-11 inch pizzas is the norm there. So if you're doing using a frying pan, that's going to be a bit smaller, just maybe 200-220 grams, that's fine. Or you can just cut them into larger bits, maybe make a loaf of bread out of it. So this is one of the games we play when it comes to dough balling. So we usually do this towards the end of the day, just trying to get it smack on 250 grams first shot. So I haven't done this in a while, so there might be a bit off. So we're going to go way over. I'm going to make these a little bit slower so we can have a little play with the dough tomorrow and make a couple of different things as well. So I'm going to knock them down to about 200 grams. So hopefully we can get a few more dough balls and show you a couple of things that we can make with the different doughs then. Way out of practice on this. There we go. So in theory that should be... Looks nice and easy when you're making 4, but when you're doing like a festival and you're making like 200 plus pizzas a day, it takes a long time to do this. So we've got 4 equal sized balls. So the next bit is the dough balling. This is quite technical. A lot of people struggle with this. But it's just a case of the aim is to create a nice little tight, round, smooth dough ball. So I'll come up a bit closer to the camera. If you see this, all I'm doing, I'm folding it up and in on itself, and at the same time I'm pinching. So you can see he's turning a nice little smooth little ball, and then we get a little bit of flour, get a nice little tray, very light dusting. I'm going to pop that in there, ready to go to sleep. So I'll do that one again. So I'm just folding it in on itself, just up and in. So what this helps then, it helps us give like the tighter and the more accurate you are with that, you'll get like a nice even rise. So when it comes to stretching your dough, you won't get any thin parts. If you're struggling a bit with that, it takes a bit of practice, but there is another way, it's slightly easier. If you just pop it down on the surface, you almost make like a little cage with your hand, and you just roll it on the surface. But this, at the same time, I'm using this part, the heel of my hand, or the palm of my hand, and I'm kind of massaging it. So it's nice little sexy moves with your hands. So. What they used to say in fast show? Rolling a pizza ball is like making love to a beautiful woman. A lot of you are probably too young to remember the fast show. But, like again. So I'm just pushing, I'm using like my fingers as like a way of keeping the shape, and then at the same time I'm just kind of massaging it into there. So now we have 4 little dough balls. So the next step, we leave these out for about 20-30 minutes just to start fermenting. So these are ready for their second ferment. So they'll stay out 20-30 minutes just to get them going, and then we'll cover them, and then we pop them in the fridge in the market so they have a nice long, nice little sleep overnight. Just a bit more time to develop, and then we'll pull them out in the morning, ready to get back up to room temperature, ready for pizzas. But if you've used like a fast action yeast, this process would be a bit quicker. But for us at the market, we've had to, because of time restrictions, we've had to kind of like adapt our pizza dough making to suit that. So what we found worked best was just leave it in the fridge overnight now, and then we'll pick it back up in the morning. Okay, here we are, we fast forwarded to the next day. So our dough has had a nice long fermentation. It's had its second fermentation in little ball form, little dough ball form. So we made this dough midday yesterday, and we're now 7 o'clock the following day in the evening. So it's had well over 24 hours. But the important thing to remember when you're making dough, it's not an exact science. We don't stick rigidly to these time scales and stuff, especially in the market. In the middle of the summer, obviously it's boiling hot day, your dough is going to prove and ferment a lot quicker, so you've just got to keep on top of it. But always remember, you can always use the fridge as your little helping friend there, just to help slow things down and control it a little bit. So we've got 4 dough balls. We've already shown you how to make the frying pan pizza, so I might give you a little demo on what else you can make with the dough. We had a few requests on how to make some calzone, so we're going to give that a shot, and then we're going to try something. We sometimes make them in the market when you want something a bit different from pizzas. A salt and bocca or a panuzzo, which is like a little pizza bread, so it's almost like a little baguette. So we're going to show you how to make that. It's nice and simple, you know, it's a pretty universal dough, so it's got plenty of uses. So the first thing is, you need plenty of flour to get these dough balls out of the tray. And this is where your little dough cutter comes in handy. So you want to make sure you cut all the way through, so it's nice and loose. It's not going to stick. The first one's always the hardest to get out. And then work quite quickly. I'm going to pop some flour down here as well, just so it doesn't stick. I'm going to stretch it how we kind of stretch it in the market. Get rid of that. So, just make it a little bit bigger. When it comes to a calzone, we're just going to keep it nice and simple. We've got going to make a little veggie one here. So we've got some mozzarella. You only really need to top half the pizza when you're making these, because obviously you're going to fold it over. Only a tiny bit of sauce. I'm going to go a little bit fancy. We've got some goat's cheese. If you are going to put raw ingredients in a calzone, try and cook them up a little bit beforehand, because obviously they're going to be inside the dough, inside the oven, so it's not, so things like onions and chilies, you might want to give them just a quick little fry just to soften them up, unless you like your veg a bit crunchy. So you've got some nice tiny goat's cheese, and I've made up some caramelised onions, so we've got a nice little tanginess from there, and the sweetness of the caramelised onions. And then, that's all you do, fold it over, and you kind of just pinch it, seal it up around the edge, and if you can, try and put a little air vent in it, so that'll help stop the dough from getting soggy, release all the steam. This is the fun bit, and again it's off. There we go, no problem. So there we have, nice little calzone. We've got the oven on hot temperature, it's really hot, it's about as high as it'll go, like gas mark 7 or 8. Got a bit of an old school oven, still on gas marks. But just try and get it hot. It's the same as a frying pan pizza, you're trying to cook it as quickly as you can. And I'll just show you like a quick little technique for then stretching it out for the sandwich. There's loads of different variations. They call them panuzzos, they call them salt and boccas. I think it kind of depends on where in Italy you are as well. So you just want to stretch this one out. You can even give it just a bit of a pull. So you've got like a nice like little slipper shape. So you cook this first. This is when the pan falls apart. When your tray is not quite big enough. Yeah, so we'll pop these in, little air vent to let the steam out. And we'll cook these 10-15 minutes, so just keep an eye on them, and then we'll see what comes out the other side. So, they've been in the oven. Let's get the trusty oven mitt, and I pull them out, so you can see. So it's nice dough, nice and crispy. With the saltimbocca or the panuzzo, if you want, you can stretch it out. If you want a bit more of a rise out of it, stretch it out and just let it prove for an hour, just to let it come up again, get some more air in it. With a calzone, I recommend leaving that because it's going to be hotter than the sun in the middle to start off with. So I'll just give you a quick little recap on the other. If you might have noticed, if you watched our frying pan pizza, I showed you one way to stretch a dough ball out. That's like a good little, almost like a little beginner's way of doing it. And then when I made these, this calzone and stretched that one, I did it the authentic way, you could say. So I'll just give you a quick little recap of the other way. There's plenty of flour, start in the middle, and then just work your way around. Make sure you keep that little lip around the edge. You get your nice puffy crust. And then with that one, it was fists together, stretch, turn. And then it's fine. So you're just stretching it like that, but you're turning it at the same time. And there we go. Nice round pizza. So we're going to wait for that to cool down. And I think that's pretty much it for dough making. If you have any questions, drop us a message and we'll do our best to answer them. And then I'm going to sign off as an Italian word with a little limoncello. Iechyd da. Joio Byw Productions.